ABC, Paul HebertBy Claire Spellbergjust. Now there are only 6 men left on this season of The Bachelorette, and each has a strong connection with Becca. At this point, Becca can see a future with each of the guys, which means that shrinking down the group to one final winner is going to be tough. But one guy has stood out throughout the entire competition, and now, fans are curious, does Blake win The Bachelorette? The Colorado native captured Becca's heart in week 1, and these 5 clues suggest that their connection will last long after the show ends. Blake and Becca first met during the After the Final Rose special in March, and they immediately hit it off. You may remember him as the guy who rode in on a horse and reminded Becca that after facing heartbreak, you have to get back in the saddle. Cue a ride into the sunset. JK, that didn't happen, but Becca did laugh at his cheesy joke, so I'll count that as a win for Blake. Blake is the only guy from the After the Final Rose special who's still on The Bachelorette, so it's clear that his initial spark with Becca has lasted. But their meet cute isn't the only hint that Becca and Blake are meant to be. There are plenty of other signs that these two are destined for love. Here are 5 clues that may prove that Blake wins the final rose on season 14 of The Bachelorette. Bachelor Nation on ABC on YouTube. In week 2, Blake scored the first one-on-one date of the season, and rather than go on some sort of sappy songwriting date, trust me, there's been plenty of that this season, the two actually did something fun. Becca took Blake to a warehouse where the two smashed visual reminders of Airy to a soundtrack of Lil Jon's Turned Down for What. It was bizarre and cathartic and an all-around good time, and the low-key setting gave Blake and Becca a chance to crack jokes and mess around. After the destruction part of their date ended, Becca and Blake sat down for a deep convo about their past relationships, and Blake revealed that his last relationship also ended badly. The two commiserated for a moment before making out. Romance, am I right? In all seriousness, Becca and Blake's 1-1-1 was probably the best date fans have seen all season. Fun? Check. Humor? Check. Vulnerability? Check. Physical chemistry? Check, check, check. If that's not a sign that these two are meant to be, I don't know what is. ABC, Paul Hebert. Throughout the season, fans have watched Blake and Becca's relationship grow, but their connection is clearest during each cocktail party. Whenever Blake and Becca chat, it seems incredibly natural, and no matter how long or short the conversation is, both seem to come away feeling relaxed and happy. Sometimes, it's the little things that matter most. Remember their conversation in Blake's bedroom. Rather than sit on some uncomfortable-looking couch in the mansion, Becca and Blake chatted on his bottom bunk, and they very openly talked about how many kids they want to have and their ideal futures. Sure, it was a little early on to be having that conversation, but clearly, the two are beyond comfortable with each other, and it's nice to see that they can talk about the serious stuff just as easily as the fun stuff. ABC, Paul Hebert. While in Las Vegas in week 5, the guys traveled to Wayne Newton's mansion and wrote their own lyrics about Becca to the tune of Dan Key Showin', Newton's famous and only hit. I told you there was a songwriting date, and this wasn't even the first one. Anyways, Blake wrote a pretty average song about Becca, and his performance that night was perfectly adequate. Blake's song was by no means the best. That honor probably goes to Chris, who was pissed that his efforts weren't rewarded, but Becca still ended up giving him the group date rose, which is a pretty good indication that she's got strong feelings for Blake and is willing to cause a little drama to keep him around. Plus, that photo. Can you spell LOV? Bachelor Nation on ABC on YouTube. Before Blake won the group date in Las Vegas, he dropped the ultimate bomb on Becca. He told her that he loved her. Honestly, Becca, I am falling in love with you. I really am, he told her during a cocktail party conversation. Becca didn't quite know what to say, especially after the awful love situation with Jean Blanc in week 4, but she later told the camera that she feels it too. It just feels so natural and so right. I am falling in love with Blake and I honestly knew it from the beginning, she said. Hopefully, these two don't get their hearts broken in the finale. ABC, Paul Hebert. Traditionally, guys who cause drama in the mansion don't win the Bachelorette, and it seems like that will be the case this season, too. Throughout season 14, Blake has stayed out of the guys' drama and focused on his relationship with Becca, and it's paid off. Becca has been clear that she's not into that whole stirring the pot thing, by Chris Lincoln, Jean Blanc, Jordan, the list goes on, so it makes sense that Blake has sensed this and kept his head down. However, Blake's drama-free streak may be coming to an end in week 7. In the promo for the new episode, Blake looks super upset that he hasn't gotten a one-on-one date in weeks, and he almost loses it when Becca picks Garrett for a second date. Seeing Garrett get the one-on-one was a slap in the face. "She has to know this is killing me. She has to," he tells the camera. "While I definitely feel bad for Blake, he can probably tell that he and Garrett are the frontrunners. He needs to remember that he's not alone. Everyone wants more one-on-one time with Becca, and they're all fighting to get it. I'm really excited to see how Blake sets himself apart from the other guys and fights for Becca's attention, because if handles the situation correctly, he may have a final rose in his future." Homepage Fashion.